Today I'm just going to do a very quick video and just show you how to grow and care for your tomatoes, how to feed them, and at the end I'll tell you the best varieties of tomatoes to get. Tomatoes can be very temperamental plants. Now tomatoes like to be watered at the same time every day with the water that is the temperature of where the tomatoes are.